You did it! You booked your first paying client. Now what? In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the most common workflow that I encounter on my very first session with a new client to hopefully give you the confidence you need to go in there and take charge. So if you need some of that, stick around and let's get into it. My name is Melanie and I'm your professional organizer and productivity consultant. What does that even mean? Hey and welcome to the I Speak Organize YouTube universe. My name is Melanie and I am your professional organizer, productivity-based life coach, and decluttering expert. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. And today we're going to be talking through the most common workflow of what to expect when you go in for your very first session. So you've already booked your client, you have them on the schedule, and you are about to go in there. And this is something that I get asked about frequently in the comments. I get asked about it frequently on my one-on-one coaching calls with other aspiring pro organizers. And so I figured that there's just a lot of people out there that are feeling nervous about this and just want to know something, want to know what to expect. And so I figured it was time that I made that video to help you out. Before we dive into that, I want to make sure that if you're new here, you are aware of all of the special offers that I have running right now in case one of these strikes a chord with you and you know, like, yes, this is me, I need help with this, I'm here for you. So I do offer consultations one-on-one at low cost for aspiring pro organizers to sit on Zoom with me for an hour and just hash it all out. If you're like me, you probably are trying to think through all of the possible scenarios and just feel prepared, and you might have a lot of very specific questions that can't be answered in a short form YouTube video format. And so sit on Zoom with me and I will spill all the details. I will send you all the resources that I possibly can to help you feel excited and prepared and just know that you can truly do this and really start this business. And I also offer my signature Pro Organizer Forms pack for those of you who love to organize, but you're not super into the business part of it and writing your client agreement and knowing what questions to ask during your consultation and how to follow up via email, what to say, how to make it sound genuine, but not be unprofessional, and just all of those little details and all the just mountain of forms that you need to be able to get that person to say yes to hiring you. I have built 9 forms that are 100% customizable through a free Canva account, and I'm gonna hand it all over to you to be able to use and take paying clients faster. So if that's you, this is a shortcut that you can use, and I have a special discount code just for my YouTube video viewers, YTPRO8. You can take that with you to check out for $8 off. If you are one of my pro consult clients, you get an even bigger discount. So you can ask me about that down in the comments, get in touch with me, and I am happy to help you out. All right, fam, let's go ahead and dive in. So the very first thing that is gonna help you with this process is to understand that preparation is key. And you probably already know that, so I'm just gonna unpack it briefly to let you know what I mean by that. So assuming that you've already booked the client, you will have asked all the right questions, you will have gathered all of the contact information and the correct details to create as clear of a picture as possible of what you're walking into. And within that first consultation, that's your opportunity to gather all that information, to put both your mind and your client's mind at ease so everybody knows what to expect when you're starting the process. So if that's something that you're not super clear on yet, make sure that you check out my 5 essential forms video. It's going to be up in that card right here, and I'll also link to it down in the description area of the video as well, where I kind of go through a more thorough breakdown of all the different questions that you can ask when you're doing the consultation or the client intake process. So definitely after you watch this video, be sure to go check that one out. and then you'll have an idea of how to prepare more easily. All right, next thing is time management. This is super important. You're gonna arrive at your client's house about 5 to 10 minutes early. Not too early, not too late, but the reason for this being that you're not gonna get there right at the start of your session and just jump in and start decluttering. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend sort of setting the stage for building the relationship between you and your client. So you're gonna come in a little bit early, allow them to show you the space so that you can take a tour in person, and you can start to ask permission to get reference photos. You can take your measurements and start to sort of visualize some of the other details that you can't really convey over the phone or video chat when you did your consult. And this will just kind of give you another opportunity to add additional notes to your project plan and really flesh out the picture. So you're gonna wanna have a little bit of extra time to do that. And of course, that can be put into your session time. But I like to show up just a little bit early so that the client really gets that visible progress at the end of the session. And the goal here is to get them excited and let them see progress so that they're gonna want you to come back because they notice that change occurred. It's also a good idea during the initial meeting when you're touring the space with your client, kind of getting to know them and sort of reading the energy and how they're feeling about starting the process. This is a good opportunity for you to set their mind at ease and help them get into a positive headspace to start this process. A lot of times clients will be very nervous, they will be feeling judged, and you want to squash those feelings immediately. And you also want them to start thinking forward into the future and get really intentional about how they want to use the space. So if you haven't been able to get them to nail down very clearly how they want to use the space in the future, this is an opportunity for you to get them talking about that and looking to exactly how they want the space to function. You don't want to start by organizing clutter. However the house is designed, that might not be how the client wants to use that space. A dining room might not be used for dining. It very rarely is these days, and so you can help them start to develop a different intention and a different vision for that space. And so this is your opportunity to work on that. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do is start decluttering. And like we just talked about a minute ago, you don't wanna be organizing their clutter. And that is where a lot of clients often fall short. They skip the decluttering phase. Especially when you're starting out, you're going to be working with the majority of people and walking into their homes, and they're gonna have too much stuff. Obviously, the starting point is going to maybe change as you niche down and start doing different types of projects, but overall, this is the starting place. And so I always whip out a handful of wastebasket liners and a handful of really large trash bags, and we start with trash. Anything that we know really just doesn't belong in the space. You can pretty much assume that there's gonna be a lot of that type of stuff, and you wanna get it out of the way so that it is not a distraction. Then start to work on things that you know your client isn't going to want to keep, things they are ready to get rid of right away. You want to help them pare down as much as possible. Pick up a few books that are going to help specifically with decluttering. Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White is one of my all-time favorite books and gave me a lot of strategies that I use with clients. I'll link to it down in the description of the video so you can go and pick that up. It's also available on Audible if you're not into reading and you just want to listen to it in the car on the way to a session. It is gold, and it will help you make the decluttering process a lot easier for both you and the client. So start with that, start with trash, start with decluttering, get rid of the stuff that's not staying, and the next part is going to be a lot easier for both of you. Another key piece to your first session is going to be setting up a staging zone and helping your client learn how to use that. Once you've kind of taken an initial pass with the trash, you can start to set up boxes and bins against a space or on a table, wherever it is that you happen to be working, to put your donations, put items that need to go live somewhere else, and additional trash and recycling and things that are gonna just need a temporary home until you set up your organizing systems and get the product that you need in that space. This is also assuming that you have conveyed to the client that the process typically takes longer than we would like and is going to require multiple sessions, especially when you're working alone. If you don't have a huge team of organizers working with you, the process is going to just naturally take longer. And so hopefully you will have negotiated a package with your client, which means that you can break this process up into stages here. And so you're going to want to have an organized staging area with those boxes and bins for toss, donate, keep, whatever, to temporarily home these things between sessions so that you can keep everything organized. And another thing that I like to do is have really big post-it notes that are lined where I can keep notes and just details about what it is that's in this box or in this zone, this staging area, and put it on the wall or on the box so that I have an idea of what to do when we pick up where we left off. As a side note, if you want to know what else I keep in my work bag, you can check out this video right here or down in the description. I will link to it as well. It goes through everything that I keep in my work bag and in my car to be prepared for any session. It's a good one. Go check it out. Now, a lot of people ask me what to do during the first session because they don't think they're going to have enough to do, or they're not going to know what to do, and then they're just going to be sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And I'm here to tell you that you will have your work cut out for you just with the decluttering and staging phase alone. It'll probably, one or two of those things will take up almost the entire first part of the session. So the staging is key so that you're not leaving your client with a huge mess between sessions. And the time management piece is key as well, so that you have enough time to wrap things up and get it prepared for the next session, as well as have time to put the donations in your car or whatever it is that you're taking. And the question here always comes up, do I charge hourly? Do I just stay until it's done? This and that. My sessions are 3 hours minimum in person so that we have a solid chunk of time to make quality decisions about what we're doing with stuff. I usually find I will go for 4 hours for some clients if they really are game to do the process, or if I'm working entirely independently, I could literally do this all day long and it wouldn't faze me at all. But I find that the quality of decisions degrades after about 3 or 4 hours. People get tired, they get that decision fatigue, and so I like to set hard and fast boundaries and expectations so that we know we are designating this time to this time and we're going to make as much progress as we possibly can in that time. And so that's why I personally don't do hourly until it's done type of projects. And so I set a timer typically for about 20 to 30 minutes before the session is going to end. And that allows me to say, okay, it's time to get everything that we've decided we're going to donate into the car. So I have time to load up. And then that's your time to follow up with your client, book your next session, make sure the invoice is paid. I really don't recommend leaving the job site until you have some form of payment confirmed and approved. And this is why I talk about this in my 5 essential forms video as well, that I don't work with clients unless I get a card on file, because then I have the form of payment ready to go. I don't have to even have that conversation with my client while I'm on the session. I can just take the donations, schedule my next session with them, and say thank you very much, goodbye, I've really enjoyed working with you today. And then I can charge them after the fact when I'm home doing all of my bookkeeping. So that is kind of the general way that I like to work it. The last sort of logistical piece of this is the follow-up instructions for your client. So typically when I get home and I'm doing all of my bookkeeping and follow-up, I will add to their project log, which is just a simple Google Doc that I will share and make my client an editor with. Sometimes I will text them some additional things, or I will be communicating with them via Marco Polo, which is like a video chat app. And we can just have quick conversations back and forth about what to do in between. And this can be Really essential if your client is on a time crunch, they have a specific deadline, they may need to be doing some of the work in between on their own. And so it's just nice for them to have a sort of attack plan to work off of. And so over the years of doing this, I've developed a lot of templates that are digital PDFs that I can just send to them with some basic instructions. You can also use a Google Doc with a project log that shows what you got done. You can add links to products if your client is going to be purchasing things on their own. And it's just a way to keep all of the information and everything that has been done and needs to be done organized and very easy for your clients to follow in case they need extra help in between. So that is pretty essential as well. And then my last piece of advice here is to manage your expectations, because you will find that a lot of the work that you do during a session may be undone between sessions. And at the end of the day, manage your expectations. It really isn't about you and what you want, it's about your client and what they want. It is ultimately their space, it's their journey. They're not going to be equipped with the same mindset and the same organizing skills that you have, because obviously that's why they hired you to come in. And so this is going to be something that you are teaching them, and it's going to take time to develop what I call their habit muscle. I have had to learn to be really patient and just be okay with stuff getting undone. And if that's something that bothers you, you either will need to adjust your expectations a little bit and understand that this is going to be a much slower process for most of your clients, or you're going to want to engage clients that want done for you services so that you have total control over the project and you can just do everything yourself from start to finish. And generally speaking, those types of projects require larger budgets, and they require you to have additional organizers, junior organizers, extra sets of hands to help you get the project done quicker. So it's just a different business structure, and so it's just something to think about. But for the most part, people that I help, they are just starting out, they're solopreneurs, and so they want to achieve a certain result because they want the before and after photos to be a real wow factor for their social media and this and that. And it may take some time for you to develop the right relationship, to develop the trust that you need between you and your client to get to that place. And so just pump the brakes a little bit and give them a little bit of grace, give yourself a little bit of grace, and just know that, you know, it's not a one and done type of thing. And another thing that I always mention to my clients primarily, but it's a good point for new organizers as well, is that getting organized is a journey. It's a lifestyle. It's not a destination. It's not a place that you're going to get from A to B and then you just will live in the land of organization forever. And so the process is going to have some backslides from time to time. And that's just the reality of it. And I know you can handle it and you've totally got this. Okay, fam, that is it in a nutshell, the workflow for your very first session. I really hope that it was helpful. If you found this video helpful, please smash the like button for me. Consider subscribing to this channel. I am pumping out new content on all this stuff every single week. I would love to have you become a member of the Speaker Fam. And I know this video might have brought to your attention a lot of things that you might not have considered before. Maybe you have a ton of questions and you want to sit down and hash it all out. I am here for you. I love talking strategy. So get on my schedule for a pro consultation. You can book it directly from the link down in the description of this video, and I am happy to sit on Zoom with you and send you the whole recording afterwards so you have all the reference points and you get the support you need, because I want to make sure that you are ready to go and you feel confident for your first session and beyond. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fabulous day and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.